All right, my friends, so I can say we've come a long way in the project. Now we're going to start working on the backend logic that concerns the product and managing the product. So if I bring up the finished product project here and I just click on add product, you see that when we want to add a product, there are certain properties we would want that product to have. So things like the product image, the name, the category, the price, the quantity, and some product description. So we're going to create a model that will, capture all of this information. And this one is going to be, well, a little bit complex because we're going to introduce some other things into our learning process. All right, let's get started. So I got to come here and I would perhaps close some of these things here, like the token. I don't need the token model. The user route, I'm not going to be using that. And even the user controller, I can close it. But first, let me just create the model. So model, and then I'm just going to create a new file which I'm going to call product model.js. Hit enter on that, and then let's create a model. So first off, you know what I'm going to do? Let me make things a little bit faster. So I'm going to open maybe something like the token model so that we can have like a prototype of what we want to do. So first off, let's just grab these guys. In other words, I'll just copy everything here and then I'll just paste it inside this guy, because many of what we want to do is similar. So we're just going to change this to, instead of token schema, it's going to be product schema, like that. And I'll get rid of most things inside. So all of these properties here, just get rid of them. Aha. Then we're going to change this to product, the two safe. So let me click here and then we'll just change this to product, capital letter. Then for this one here, we'll also change it to product schema, and then what we are exporting is the product. Okay, so at least you see that we just bought ourselves some time by doing this stuff. Okay, now what's the first property we want to this product to have? Well, we want to be able to tag each product to the user that created them. So but this time we're not going to use user ID, we're just going to say user, and then the type is going to be same, mongoose.schema types.object_id. Required is going to be true, and then I'm just going to capitalize this here. So user. Great. So now let's add some more properties. So some of the properties we have are things like the name, which we're going to open up. We're going to give it a type of string. So it needs to be capital letter string. Then it's going to be set to required, and that's going to be set to true. Aha. So next we're going to okay, it's not just going to be set to true, we're going to also add a message if it's not entered. So let's put an array around it and then we'll just add the message. This one will say please add a name. Okay, then lastly, if there's any space around the name, we're going to trim it. So I'll say trim and set that to true. Right, so what I'll just do now, I'll just use this name as a template for the other properties. So let's just duplicate this down, and this one I'm going to name it SKU, because each product is going to have a unique number to identify it. So I'll just say SKU, and then it's a type of string. So here I'll just say SKU. Let's just see. You know what, I'll just set this one to true. I'll not add anything because I'll generate the SKU from the front end. So I'll just set it to true. Then I'll set a default. So default will just be a string that says SKU. Okay, then that's it. Then of course I can trim it if there is any space around it, but I doubt there will be. But let's just add that here as well. So trim. Then next, let's add a category. And remember, this SKU, we're going to do it such that it will be unique, but let's just leave that. And I'll just come here and duplicate this downwards, and then this is going to be category. category. I must not make any typographical error here. So category, type of string, required. Please add a category. So let's just add some. Aha. Then please add a category. Yeah. We're not going to have a default. So then what do we have next? We have the quantity. So let's do that. Quantity. String, please add a quantity. Then what else? We have the price. So let's add a price property. And here we're just going to say, please add, okay, please add a price. Just a minute, please add a price. Then what else? We are going to have a description. So here I'll just duplicate this downwards, and this is going to be description. Aha, so please add a description. So you see, everything is required. We want a complete data set. Then lastly, we're going to add an image. So I'll duplicate this description, and this image is going to be type of an object. So let me change this to image first, and then it's going to be a type of object. Okay, then I'll set a default. This one I'm not going to set it to required because the user might not have an image that they want to add at that moment. So I'll not set it to required. So but I'll just say default, and I'll set it to an empty object because the image is going to be an object that contains several properties. Okay, so I think that's about it for setting up our our product model. Let's just go through it. So we have a user that's associated with that product. We have a name for the product, and that's fine. SKU, which we said we're going to generate by default from the front end. A category, and that's correct. Quantity, I did quantity twice, so this needs to be price. Thank God I checked. Actually, I would have made a mistake and delayed myself later. Then the description, please add a description, and then the image. Then lastly, we're going to add a timestamp. So just come here, add a comma, and just open another parenthesis. Then we'll now say timestamps, plural. Then we're just going to set it to true so that it will add the date it was created and the date that any update is made to it. Then lastly, we created these products, and then we attached it to product schema, and then we export. So that's fine. I'm actually going through this check because I did a copy and paste from a previous one. When I do that, I usually tend to forget to change something. So that's about it for our product schema. Go ahead and save, and in the next one we're going to continue building out the project.